Congratulations if you've made some money off of Lululemon. The stock ended the day at $399.60, up a whopping 15.89%. This is where we ended. To the north side takes us to roughly $429.83. Above that, $445.69 and $461.81. The middle of the trend takes us to 396.31. There's a gap to the south side to be aware of. 362.54. The gap closes to the downside at 345.07 and at -4 standard deviations, 330.05. I do not anticipate we get to this level on Monday, but this is the reason why it ran. The company reported revenue of $2.4 billion. The estimate was $2.36 billion. So up 1.66%. And Lululemon is at the top of my leaderboard. I track Vanguard's total stock market index fund, and I have approximately 234 tickers within this fund. You can obviously just buy the fund or troll for beaten down tickers that Vanguard still holds within its fund because it still has potential, and that's what I like to do. So let's take a look at this on the daily time frame. You can see we're just going sideways here. RSI going down after that run up on the 5-minute. On the daily time frame, you are looking at another level of resistance taking us to 460.22 and to this middle of the line here, the median. That will take us to roughly 251.96. Note the bounce here. Oops, let me delete that. At support, running through resistance, and then we are up here busting through, and then I'm going to anticipate a roll over here. We are overextended on the RSI, and the highest we've ever gone on the monthly appears maybe right here. Oh, right there. Yeah, it's better if I just mark this on the monthly time frame. So I'll take a look at that in just a moment. But it's been a while since I've taken a look at this. And let me just delete this. These are just observation areas I made a long time ago. And I track this. See, the last time was right here, I think. Yeah, roughly on Friday, May 19th. For my niece who loves Lululemon. She's a gymnast. So after that, we were at resistance, fell back down to support, did not close out this gap just yet. And did we ever? Yes, we did. This gap, now I'm just going to mark this out since I have not looked at this, as I mentioned, in a long time. It looks like that touched right there, but if you make that larger, stretch it out, you can see it did not touch. So now it touched. And then there was this gap as well to the downside. We gapped up, so I anticipate it to fill to the downside. And we did. So when I was tracking it over here, I knew at some point there would be some downside potential. And we went sideways, went up, and then fell down. So that concludes this gap, no longer a threat to our account. And there was this gap to the upside, and this is still in play. That will take us eventually to 469.01-ish. All right. But before we get to this level, I will anticipate a rollover because we can't just keep going up and up without consolidating, basing, going sideways. You can expect that. No stock goes up without going down. That just does not happen. So back in August, the price was $258.83. We're now back at $399.60. So that is a look at this on the daily. The weekly, again, you're going to get different buy and sell signals. So if we make it to 2 standard deviations, long term, that's 528.36. I'm not going to even bother going to the outer edges there. And here's just a look at this ticker on the monthly. So this was an area to buy in, but we got as low as, well, I wasn't tracking it then, so I'm not going to count that, but here was a low point 250 and then another low point at 226.01. All right, so now what I'm going to do is flip this back to the 5. Since that is at the top of my leaderboard, I'm going to go to the bottom. I have a Lululemon in my town, and we actually have a discount, an outlet store, but I can never buy anything there because I don't like to wear pure spandex or pure polyester. I need cotton. So if anyone from Lululemon is listening, please put out products that also have cotton and spandex. So the best of both worlds. I don't like polyester, and spandex, I don't need it that tight. I just need a little bit of a natural fabric, cotton. So I think you're losing out on a lot of potential clients like myself who want cotton with a little bit of spandex or lycra, maybe 5 or 10%, please. All right, I'm done with my diatribe. Now I'm gonna go, I've also, by the way, this is the top 10 here. I've gone over Tesla, AVGO, I own mRNA, and I have talked about Amazon, Oracle, actually all of these tickers, maybe AutoZone, yeah, AutoZone I have done, I think I have, but Dollar General and Target were also tickers that I was looking at the low range. And now I'm starting a stock watch list of my Mag 20, as Nate likes to say. So had I started it earlier, this would have been the 2 tickers within my fund. But I'm not going to go over that. What I'm really interested in is the bottom of the leaderboard, because that's where I like to troll for tickers that have much more potential to go to the upside. I don't like to buy high and then go higher. I don't trade that way. Not interested in it. So let's go over United. You know, all the hoopla about United with the CEO getting murdered, and they are still looking for the killer. And I did hear something about the CEO was set to testify against insider trading with Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if that's true. I tried to find it, and Google does not say one thing about it, but you know that Google hides things. And so does YouTube with certain things they don't want the masses to know about. And I could not find it. But anyway, I will look for it later. That's an interesting theory if that is the case. But let's go over United Healthcare or United Health Group. So this is where we ended. To the north side, 551.95, 571.78, 582.31. Don't hold your breath for Monday, and don't hold your breath for up here at 592.49 within 2 and -2 standard deviations all day long. And then the chart will constantly change. So you'll never most likely get to these outliers. But if you do, that is definitely a clear buy or sell signal, or a sell limit, or a stop loss signal. 532.29, 521.23, and 511.75. Looking left, you can see a slight bounce here at support. Didn't quite make it to there, but you're going to follow this line, this median, the mean reversion back to this middle line from wherever we are. Price likes to stay around this line, and it has to go to this line to get to the upside, or if we're at the upside, it has to go through this line to get to the downside. So this is the happy medium right here. And we are now, if we are down here, we go up here, that's resistance, making a way down. Still trying to bust through this resistance area, but we will, looking at this, possibly go up higher. And then once we hit this area, we could roll back down, stair-stepping it down until we finally go sideways and then correct. But this is an opportunity to possibly get in if you've been trying to get in and it's too expensive. But for me, this is not a buy because I like it down here more. There are too many tickers I want to trade, and this is not one of them until it gets to a better price point. Let's take a look at this on the daily. It's been a while since I looked at this one. All right, see, look, I was looking at it at 489, 490. That's closer. And then we've got these gaps that still have not closed out. I need to go through and clean this ticker up. All right, we've got the, oops. Let's drag, no, doesn't like it when I have this overlap here. All right, here and here. Let's just move that out. So at this level, that will take us to roughly 515.90. And then we've got this one at roughly 512.38. And then -2 standard deviations on the daily is 503.73. And then watch out for these other landmines to the south side that have not closed. I'll have to fix that. But that gap closed, that gap closed. We've got this gap that finally closed as well. So this is why it's important to go back, draw those gaps. That way you know where price could be headed. See, we were down here, and then I said, hey, should we take profits there? And Murat, my trading buddy here, talked about this. So then I tracked it at this level at 476. We went up. You have opportunities all day long to get in, get up, get out. And from this point to this point, let me turn off the magnet. That was a gain. Oh, let's draw that a little bit better. Of 15%. You can make gains so easily by lowering your standards and taking 2%. I might even try that strategy in the new year just for fun. You can hit 2% all day long, every single day on all tickers, pretty much. And am I better off making many small 2% gains instead of waiting for the bigger payout of 10%, 15%, 20%? I'm gonna try that. That means I'm going to be getting in and getting out more often. I don't really want to trade that way either, but that is one strategy I may explore in 2025, just for giggles. All right, so that is the area over here that I started tracking United. Now, the next one I want to go over, speaking of Murat, is ARKK. A couple of points to talk about here. First, let's talk about this on the 5-minute time frame. And the reason I'm talking about this is Murat says that Arkk holds Tesla, Coin, and Palantir with nice percentages. And if you're not in these trades, you might not need to buy these individually. If you trust Cathie Wood and hold Arkk, because Arkk holds these 3 tickers. And the Arkk beta is 1.95 right now. And the average beta of Tesla, Coin, and Palantir is 2.77. So if you don't know what beta is, I'm going to talk about that in just a moment on a different time frame. But first, let's give you some price targets. 63.52, 63.95, and should we be so lucky as to get to 64.36 on Monday, you can bet people will take their profits and run. They will lock in and they will leave. And then we could start falling down, yes, to then go back up again. Read this. Just read the charts. Read the oscillators. We're already overextended. We could go up and then crash. It always happens. Okay, look back here. We crashed, went back up. And when I say crash, meaning oversold. Okay, it means a better value, possibly a better place to pick up or start a position. And when I look at this, I'm not looking at divergences, okay? I don't need to get that fancy and that technical. I'm keeping it very simple for myself. All right, this is a gap to the downside that will fill because we gapped up 60.49. Just things to be aware of to the south side because there's always a south side on every ticker. All right, so that's the 5 minute. Note all these levels at resistance, falling back down. This gap closed already. Support, a bounce. I'm going to just mark out or sound off the, it went down, so this is support, back up to resistance. Didn't quite make it down there. This is resistance to sell off, down to support, going sideways there, back up to resistance, sell off at resistance, support, bounce, selling down, bounce here at support, up to resistance, and we've got room to go over here, but over here we're already extended. Okay, on the daily, your targets, according to the chart, not to me, is 66.89. I'm just calling out what I see. That's to the upside. And then back to the downside. Let me move that. Look at that. To the downside would close out this gap, and that would take us to roughly 58.28. And that's all I'm going to call out for this. And when I looked at this, what is this? Oh, that one's already closed. It's been a while since I looked at this. Okay, that's done. But did that close? Yeah, closed right there at 50.67. Delete. I like to get rid of my price bars. So that way, when I look at this at a quick glance, I know it has completed its cycle. And that touched right there to the downside. And it took us down to 39.91-ish. And that was close to the 52-week low. That 36.85. Where's 85? Well, close enough. But that's the low of the 52-week range, I guess. But then we hit it over here too, but that's okay. So we went up and then made our way back down to fill this gap, and then bouncing up, didn't quite make it to the line, fell back down, and then made another attempt. And there's a gap right here. This one I'm tracking, but then look at this one. You're going to see different buy and sell signals and gaps depending, and they start at different areas, depends on where you're looking, on what time frame that went up. So then I anticipate this to go down, and it's not going to line up on the 5 minutes, so I will clean that up for the 5 minute later. But I've tracked this at 42, 66, 40, 44, 50, 81. What else? Oh, and I don't know why, but I think Murat told me about this ticker back at 33, somewhere in this range. I forgot to put it within the price label so I could see, but he called the shot there. Look at that. I'm sure he called it down here at the low. Oh, this is a 29. That's even a lower low. 29.45 there. Nice. And then we moved up. All right, and then look at all the way up here that I've tracked a long time ago. Oh, speaking of beta, A beta of 1 indicates that the stock moves in line with the market, while a beta above indicates higher volatility and a beta below 1 indicates lower volatility. The S&P 500 has a beta of 1. Stocks with betas higher than 1 are interpreted as more volatile than the S&P 500. So, Marat mentioned that the Arkk beta is 1.95, but the average beta of Tesla, Coin, Palantir is 2.77. So, in that situation, buying an ETF is a little bit safer. Now, I want to show you something else. If you go to bar charts, this is barchart.com, put in your ticker for the stock or ETF or whatever you like, and the 60-month beta for Tesla is 2.36. It smooths it out more because you're averaging in 5 years versus just 1. So you can look at this in different ways. But if you don't know anything about trading, you're just starting off, pick a good ETF and let the institutions figure it out for you. If you have no idea what to do, let them figure it out. And that's why I track Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund, and then I break it out into the top 230 something, and then I can look at it myself. I've let them do the homework. I don't have time to do that. Marat is excellent at doing fundamental analysis. I'm just showing you technical trading here. And it's super easy. Everyone can learn. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just showing you how you can learn it yourself. So don't ever accuse me of financial advice. This is for fun, okay? I'm never going to say that again. I don't care if I write it down. I'm not an analyst, and neither is anyone else on YouTube that's not an analyst. And I'm not even sure if any analysts, I got to figure this out. I want to find this out. If they have their own channel and I want to follow it. Oops. What is this? Oops, I just hit something, and now watch this. I'll probably get, I hit something over here, an ad. Watch this, I'll probably get a bunch of spam. And let's see if I can find, let's go to ETFs and punch in ARKK. So here is Arkk Innovation ETF. And, here, the 60-month beta is 1.64. 1.64. So the 1 year here, it looks like is 1.95. The 5 year is a little bit lower. And then, I showed you the wrong thing, but here's the beta for people who like to do long-term investing, okay? And then I looked this up. This is Market Beat. So the number of institutional buyers is 244 institutions in the last 12 months. Number of institutional sellers in the last 12 months is 274. Total institutional inflows in the last 12 months, 570 million, and for the last 12 months going out, 496 million. And here is a list. I've already put this in alphabetical order, but Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund does not own it, but all of these other companies, institutions do. So you can check it out for yourself. Oppenheimer does there. Rockefeller Capital Management. So yeah, you could have bought this definitely at a better price. And that's what I'm doing with my 20 tickers I'm going to be tracking in the new year for Nate. And I'm going to see about also doing shorter trades where I get 2% gains, get in, get up, get out for sure. All right, so that's it for Arkk, and that does it for me as well. So if there is a ticker that you want me to go over, please let me know. And I have a few other videos I have to make, and they deal with Marat's picks too. Oh, by the way, Marat, not that I'm stalking you or anything like that. I just want to show you, I have tracked some of your tickers and put them in a watch list, and that's what you should do. All right, for yourself, because starting here, because that way you can kind of go through and not having to create a list over and over and over again. Why didn't that? Hold on a second. So here I have 41 tickers I've tracked, 13, 19. I really should go through and consolidate some of these that I've tracked back to 2021 too, if you can believe that. So thank you so much, Marat, for giving me inspiration actually to do many of these videos, which I wouldn't do because I already know you know how to trade and nobody watches my videos anyway. So, but it does make me interested in looking at things I would have never looked at or traded. So thank you very much and have a great trading week.